Alright guys, so today we're going to try to take care of some squeaky suspension on the Tacoma. I'm running the Falcon shocks, front and rear. The front is starting to give me a little bit of squeak. I've had them on for about 5,000 miles now, I believe. It says on their website that you should grease them every 2,500. They do have like a greasable fitting on the front. So we're going to go ahead and take off the front wheel, grease it. Probably don't need to take off the front wheel, but I'm going to do it on this side just so I can give you guys a closer look at the Falcon shocks. And then on the rear, it is not the shocks, I don't believe, that is squeaking. It is my leaf springs. I've heard from other people that the factory ones do kind of squeak. From factory, I did do the add-a-leaf, the Icon add-a-leaf, and so they are squeaking a little bit. So we're going to try and put some lithium grease on the springs, maybe in between if we can get it there. And I do have a tinny rattle. Like if you watch one of my last videos of doing Horse Creek Trail, you can hear like a tinny rattle the whole time, and I'm pretty sure it's coming from this passenger side rear. So we're gonna take off that rear wheel also and take a look and see if we can find what's that rattling, and then also grease up the rear lift springs. And then I'll also give you a closer look at the rear shocks and bump stops that come from Falcon. Alright, so here's a closer look at the front Falcon shock. And if you can see down there, that is a little Zerk fitting for greasing the bushing. So that's what we're going to do today. But if you can see, when you go to set up your shocks, they got 3 different levels. So medium level setting, which is what mine is set on right now. And then also heavy accessory. So if you add like a front bumper, winch or anything like that, you can set it to that and it'll continue to give that level height look. It does use your factory coil spring. It's kind of dark in there, but so that is my factory coil spring, and I did put these on myself without using a coil spring compressor or anything like that. Basically all I did was loosen the bottom control arm bolts, lower control arm bolts, and then the top nut for the factory spring. And then there's 2 more bolts down underneath the brake caliper here that you would remove, and it would release and let the whole bottom end droop. And by doing that, I was able to remove the factory springs. The spring bucket up here and everything stays intact, so all you do is put in the new shock with the factory spring, and then bolt everything back up, compress it with a jack, and then you're able to tighten that top bolt back down. But this is, again, a closer look at the Falcon Terraflex shocks for the Toyota Tacoma. Not a lot of reviews online or anything I've seen yet for these, but so far they have been great. They ride really good. They are a little bit firmer than what I was thinking they would be, but it rides nice. I don't have a sway bar. I removed my sway bar. So without the sway bar, the firmness really helps in cornering and stuff like that. Off-road, they definitely make a huge difference. You don't bottom out on coming down off of rocks and stuff like that like the factory suspension you would. So they've definitely been a big help from that. Factory upper control arm still able to put it back into spec for alignment, so haven't needed to upgrade that yet. But if I ever swap out my suspension for something longer travel or something like that, then I probably would upgrade those. Alright, so it's a little difficult to get it in there, but once it's on, it's on. They say to grease them every 2,500 miles. I believe I have 5,000 miles on these already, so that could be why it is starting to squeak on me. Should only take a couple pumps. Alright, so we got both sides greased up. You can see it took a couple pumps. I have to take it out for a ride to see if I can hear any more squeaking or anything like that coming from the front. I really only heard it when I was on trails and the suspension was really compressing. So on daily driving I don't really hear usually too much. So now the front is done, so we'll head to the back and see if we can find what is that tinny rattle and see if we can fix maybe some of that leaf spring squeak also. Let's move on. Alright guys, and so now this is what the rear looks like. These are the rear Falcons. They are the extended travel tow haul versions. They do come with new bump stops. They are taller than the factory ones. They just replace right here your factory ones. And then the tow haul does come with the different modes. So you can select, right now I have them set on soft, but you can run level 2, level 3, depending on how much load you have in the back. So that's a nice feature to have. And then I do have the icon add a leaf down here. So we are gonna bang around here a little bit, see if I can find out that tinny rattle. And then I'm also gonna spray down these leaf springs and see if I can get them to stop squeaking a little bit. It may stop it for a little bit, but it'll probably come back. Sorry if I sound like I'm out of breath here. I did just come from the gym. Let me also show you something else here. Let me move the light. It's kind of dark back here. But I did also get these. And these are little brackets that hold your e-brake cable. And they basically just mount straight to these new pieces that come with the add a leaf. Because your factory ones basically have nowhere to mount to after you remove the overload spring at the bottom. So those are from a guy that's on the forum, and those are pretty nice. Alright guys, so I used some of this on the rear leaf springs, so it's the white lithium grease. And so basically I just coated like the whole springs, front and back, try to get inside as much as possible. Again, this is probably just a temporary fix. They probably will never stop ever squeaking. But I think I did find the tinny rattle that was bothering me pretty much, probably even more than the leaf spring squeak. But let me show you what I think it is here. Alright, so we are under the truck now, and my spare tire. So I do have a full-size spare, matching spare to my other wheels and everything. And it's a 33 and it does fit under here, but I just knocked it. And you can hear the high-pitched squeak. That's what I'm hearing rattling whenever I'm out going on trails or hitting little bumps and stuff like that. So I'm pretty sure it's just a spare tire, just loose. So I'm gonna go ahead and get out the spare tire kit, tighten it up a little bit, and see if that gets rid of that squeak. All right, so I gave it a couple turns with the spare tire wrench, and no more squeak, no more little tinny rattle. That's awesome. So finally I was able to find out what it was, so that won't annoy me so much on the trails anymore and stuff like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this stuff put back together, guys, and I'll see you in a second. All right guys, so I'm gonna leave the video here. I'm happy I was able to find that little tinny squeak. I coated the rear leaf springs with some lithium grease. We'll see if that helps out any. But overall, I've been really happy with the Falcon suspension. The complete kit cost me about $1,500 with the rear add a leaf and everything like that. And then I did install everything myself, so I didn't have to pay any extra for labor, which was good. But yeah, so I'm really happy. If you liked the video, please give it a like. I'll be doing a lot more videos on some little mods that I have planned coming up and more trails. And then also consider subscribing. It really helps out the channel. I really appreciate it. All right, guys, have a good day. Squeak is pretty much gone.